Happy Friday. Hope everyone had a great week. I did. I'll catch you up on that in a moment. Welcome to Cooped Up Live, should I say. I used to say daily broadcast. It's gone down to maybe like 2 to 3 times a week lately, where I just talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. Of course, I get a frog in my throat as soon as I start talking. While we're waiting on folks to join, coopedup.com is my website. Check that out whenever you'd like. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all the social places. Would love a follow wherever you are. And this airs on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, as well as rebroadcast in audio format on all the major podcasting platforms. Be sure to click the bell, subscribe button, whatever they call it, so that you don't miss a second of the fun. And with that, let's get rolling. Hey, Mama, how are you today? Hope you were doing well. I almost texted you because I've been so erratic about coming live that I was like, maybe I should text her to tell her that I am going to be live today. Eric has gotten in the habit of asking me if I'm going to be, so he can plan his afternoon around it. That sounded much sadder in verbal form than it did in my mind. Well, get this, y'all. It is, I'm just going to call it fall in Texas. The high today was 79. Actually, my watch says it's 81 at the moment, but it was 79 just shortly ago. It is so chilly in my house right now because heaven forbid I'm not going to turn the AC down. I'm going to leave it cranked up just to enjoy being cold for a little bit. But I put on a sweater. So I started the day with just a V-neck tee, shorts, and flip-flops. And about midday, I put on a just a lightweight little sweatshirt thing, but left the shorts and the flip-flops on. That is the official fall in North Texas uniform. Hey, Lou, how are you? This is the week that I'm seeing all of my elementary school friends. Lou went to Hallettsville Elementary, and then I guess was I there in junior high also? I think I was. And Kara Castello lives just like a town south of here, and I see her stuff all the time as well. People doing great things. And Lou, I believe, has a grown-ass kid, maybe like a college kid or maybe even a full adult now. Eey. Good. Being an empty nester, though, that there is some wonderfulness to that. Anyway. But yeah, like I said, it's cold in the house, cold at night. I put a blanket on the bed because I just enjoy I hate being cold, but I like for it to be cold. Hey, Eric, how you today? Hope your party last night went well. I completely forgot to go to I was supposed to go to a black tie dinner sponsor party last night, and it's even in my neighborhood close to the house. And about an hour into the party, I was like, oh shit, there's a party. I forgot. I started seeing photos of it on Facebook, and by then I was like, nope, I'm already in. We're done. Anyway, Lou, you have a middle school kid and you're a grandma already. Man, I saw high school friends over the weekend. I had 2 high school friends come out to see Claire's roller derby bout in San Antonio last weekend. And it's funny, one of them has kids out of college already, and then the other one has like a 6-year-old boy. So, and Sandy's saying you're an empty nester until they come back, but I love it. I know. I'm excited about. I'm excited about it, and it also I'm convinced that teenagers act the way they do. That is Mother Nature's way of making it easier for them to leave the nest because you're shoving them as hard as you can out of the nest. But I'm excited about the opportunity to maybe have a relationship with my kids as adults as well. I know that a lot of people speak highly of that. I mean, my mother is so lucky. She's got a great relationship with her 2 children, or 2. My mom actually has 3 children, and I assume she has a good relationship with all 3 of us. I only can speak for Monica and I have a little brother. There's nothing estranged or anything about our relationship. We have actually a great relationship. I'm just more like a distant uncle to him than a brother because we're so far apart in age, 13 years. So anyway, Lou was saying you came back in middle school. Yeah, that was a very tumultuous time. So I have to always I need like a slide rule to figure out where I was at what time and a little reminder. Speaking of school, So I found so Mason started high school this year. Just catching y'all up. That's why I've been all over the place. Mason started high school this year, and his new high school. We went from a school that was 45 seconds away from the house to one that is, if you take a highway, it's about 22 to 25 minutes to get there. It's on the other side of Dallas, east west. Which, if you know anything about Dallas, east west is like the worst directions to go. North, south, piece of cake. East, west, terrible. Um, but he's over in East Dallas. But I discovered a new way to go that has saved my sanity. So it's a little bit longer. It's about 5 minutes longer, but I don't have to get on a highway. There's no bumper to bumper traffic. There are some stoplights, but I figured out that too. So the way I am going now is from my house, I can go one street over, and that street, Fort Worth Avenue, turns into Commerce Street and just goes all the way through downtown. And Commerce Street turns into the street that his school is on. So I don't even have to I think I make one turn the entire time. Otherwise, just get in the flow, get with the traffic. And I've been doing it for this past week. And so far, knock on wood, everything goes smoothly. If you hit the lights downtown just right, you get all the way through all of them. It's really neat to see kind of the vibe of downtown. I will say, coming back in the afternoon, it's a little bit more congested, but going to get him in the middle of the day, because he gets out 2 days a week at 1:40. And then in the mornings, it's been fine because we leave at he has to be there. We try to have him at school by 7:45. So I think I beat the commuters, or at least I'm running late commuters. So anyway, so less stress. And I am a person where I don't always have to have the fastest route. I would rather have the less stressful route. I don't want to have to worry about if I'm bumper to bumper traffic or assholes on the highway, like cutting you off, all that kind of stuff. Just give me an easy, slow riding street thing. Not a lot of I don't like stop signs, but I'm fine with stoplights. And I am good. So I'm very and my mom is saying yes, she has a good relationship with all three of us. My little brother lives actually on the same street as my mom, so of course they have a good relationship. And Eric is saying, I enjoyed my relationships with my parents much more when I was an adult than when I was a kid. Yeah. So I enjoy my relationships with, well, my dad's dead, but my mom, it's great. So, and you know what? I actually enjoy my relationship with my sister a lot. Like, she is one of my best friends. I talk to her. If I don't talk to her verbally every day, I text with her like 40 times a day at the very least. So there is that. I think she is probably getting ready to leave her house. They're actually coming. We just saw them last weekend in San Antonio, and they're actually driving up today. We're going to the big RV show here in Dallas this weekend. So they're coming up. So 2 weekends in a row. Can't get enough of my Monica and her husband. Todd and Monica's husband, Mike, have a bromance going on. They just love each other. They love hanging out with each other. They're even kind of flirty, which is, Monica and I joke about that. I don't think there's really anything going on. I'm not trying to start rumors here. I don't think there's anything to worry about. But although admittedly, they're both married to Monica and I, probably two of the most asexual people on the planet. So, I mean, if you got an itch, someone's going to have to scratch it. I still don't think that's happening, but they're so funny together. Anyway, we were talking about age a moment ago and grandkids and all that kind of stuff. So I was at the Tom Thumb yesterday. So the other nice thing about Mason's school being where it is there's like a really, really nice Tom Thumb, like a few blocks away from it. There's a Whole Foods a few blocks away from it. It's in like a hoity-toity. Well, they don't consider themselves hoity-toity, but in Lakewood, which is a fancier part of Dallas than where we live. But so I'm in this Tom Thumb, and it's gorgeous Tom Thumb, like hardwood floors. It used to be a Market Street, which they don't exist anymore, but they kept the decor, and it's really, really a pretty store. So I'm in there buying wine yesterday because we were out, and I know I needed to stock up for the weekend. And we've stopped buying boxes. Todd and I have decided that box wine is the devil, not because it's bad wine, but because you cannot accurately measure how much you were drinking. And we were just blowing through a box of wine is effectively 4 bottles of wine, which we drink like 2 a night, one each, more or less, or maybe 1 1/4 and him 3/4. But we were going through a full box like every night and a half. So we were just kind of pushing the limit. So we swore it off. So I'm buying the bottles now. And so I was there and I was checking. Literally, the only thing I had was bottles of wine and my little carry cart thing. And I go to the self checkout and bloop, bloop, and they have to come and ID you. And usually, what they do is they just kind of look at you. And I think if they think that you're under the age of 30, they're required to ID you. And if they think you're over 30, then they just don't even mess with it. But they still ID me all the time, which I do not mind. But this guy yesterday, middle-aged white guy, just came up and saw my ID. He looked at it and he goes, "Damn, you're almost 50. Man, you're killing it." That was like the sweetest thing anyone ever said to me, or at least yesterday. "You're killing it, man." That's what he said. And the thing is, my Botox has even expired. I can do that now. I still can't. It's so weird. When I have Botox, I usually can't do this much. Like I can't push and I've never had 11s because I'm not a scowler. But anyway, I do need to get my Botox redone. I'm looking at this place in our neighborhood, a new place. It's called the Tuxedo Club, and it looks really, really cute. So I'm thinking about giving them a try. Just a little bow, right? I'm not going to get anything else. I'm not getting lips plumped. I'm not getting Restylane or filler or anything like that. The only other thing I have ever done is the threads underneath the skin to try to heal up this scar that I have right here. Oh, where is it? Oh, yeah, it's on it. Where's it on the side? Oh, it's right there. You can see it right there. The hurts like a son of a bitch when they do the threads. So do not do it. Do not do it. I'm telling you. Hurt. Like I started crying actually while they were doing it. And that was with anesthesia, like local anesthetic. And I still started crying. It hurt so bad. So don't do that. Anyway. Oh, one of the things also, just random thing. One of the things I have learned spending more time in the car, because again, if you're just joining the fun, I have a car that is 7 years old. It just hit 50,000 miles, and it has been driven to Florida twice, Washington, D.C. once, Houston countless times, and San Antonio countless times. So I don't drive very much. The kids' old school was 45 seconds, or Mason's old school, Claire's still there, 45 seconds away from the house, my office, another 45 seconds away from that. I would not listen to podcasts because I couldn't get through them, all that kind of stuff. And so now I'm spending like 2 hours a day in the car. And one of the lessons that I have learned about spending that much time in the car is the number one way to guarantee that you're going to hit every green light that you come up on. And this sounds like a complaint. It's really not, but it kind of is also. Is the number one way to hit every green light is to need to send something to somebody. Like today, I'm driving back and I'm working on this thing where I'm having to work with some attorneys and having this contract drawn up and kind of some back and forth stuff. And one of them asked a question that only I had the answer to. Well, I saw it while I was driving back, or I saw it right as Mason was getting in the car. And I'm like, 30 minutes. I didn't want to waste 30 minutes. I guess I could have pulled over. But I'm like, I'll just do it at a red light. Well, did not hit a single fucking red light the entire way home. I think I hit one. Actually, I think I hit one. And at that point, we were in conversation. I did not pick up my phone. But I mean, I guess there are worse problems, right? Anyway, Karen is asking, "Do you mean the Insta lift? I had one done and regret it. The threads show in my cheeks." Really? I don't know what they called it. He just called it threads. And I got it when I was getting Botox the very first time. And it was actually Todd who was like, he's got this scar here and this is the side that Todd sees because he sits on that side of me when we're like watching TV and stuff. And also like when we're laying in bed. And he's, for some reason, this scar right there that wrinkle really bothers him. That's the one. I got that the day my dad died. I got a sunburn. And the day my dad died, I was at the beach and I just sat out there too long. and just kind of in disbelief about what was going on. And I've had this like wrinkle right there since then, and nothing gets rid of it. Even the Botox didn't. But anyway, so they run the threads, and he ran like 2 of them, like one here to here, and then I don't remember where the other one was. But oh my God, it hurts so much. I do think, hey Karen, I do think I have a come to think, and they're, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, they are barbed threads. So it is like barbed wire basically, but it is made of soluble, like they basically tear your skin away from the muscle as you are pulling it through, just it shreds it away like a facelift does. And then they hold in place, and then they kind of put the skin back on it, and I guess they hold it down. And then it eventually dissolves. They're dissolvable. It's like dissolvable stitches, but with a lot more pain. And mine have all dissolved, but I think I have a spot. I have a spot somewhere on my forehead, and of course I can't find it now I'm thinking about it, where I have like a little knot, and it's almost like, it almost feels like a skin tag, but it's not. And I think that is I think it's the knot has not dissolved all the way. Karen is saying, that's it. Yep, hurt like a mofo. It hurts so. Do not do it, y'all. Do not. I've heard people have done full face of it, because mostly it's there. Some people call it the lunchtime lift. Like you can go in at lunchtime and they do it on your neck, and it pulls things up, and then you just go back to work. I don't think there's any bruising or anything. I didn't have any, but I don't know how you go back to work, because I was in such pain afterwards. And you can't take ibuprofen afterwards, because you're actually, when you get one of the things, if you take Botox, you're not supposed to drink the night of, and maybe not the night after, and you're not supposed to take anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen and all of that. There's something about it that it minimizes the effects of it, I guess, because I guess your body needs to react in a certain way. That's part of the process. So yeah, hurts so bad. Eric is saying, I hit every green light whenever I want to try to eat something in the car. Same. Anyway, one of the things, I haven't talked about this much publicly, and I'm only going to share a little bit about it just because I don't want to embarrass my child too much, but we are struggling with Mason a little bit with this new high school, getting used to it, all that kind of stuff. I touched on this a little bit in a recent broadcast that I did. But I've been trying to figure out, is it a mindset thing for me, for Todd, all this stuff. And so just like, you know how I've said before, I think God talks to me via the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if I've shared that with y'all, but I have this joking theory, but I actually do believe it's true, that God talks to me through the Wall Street Journal. And the reason I say that, and I'll get back to my original story in a moment, is I read the Wall Street Journal every morning, and at least once, maybe twice a week, I see a story in the Wall Street Journal, and it's usually some random story. It's not like a news story. It's not like what's happening in Ukraine or the GM motor people striking or anything. It's always their randomness stories. But at least once or twice a week, that story directly relates to something that I am thinking about doing in my life. And that may be why they're writing it, because it's obviously thoughts that a bunch of people are having, but something in it almost always solves a problem or helps me get to a better solution or figure out a different way around something or just kind of change my mindset about it. I swear it happens at least once a week. So I've always said that I'm going to write this David Sedaris type short story where it's called God Talks to Me Through the Wall Street Journal or something like that. And I need to just do it. I can have GPT do it and see if I like it. Because I just think it's hilarious that happens so often. But yesterday, the reason I thought of that is yesterday, as I'm thinking about all of this stuff, I think I'm on Instagram yesterday, and all of a sudden this teen life coach named Will Elliott, it's called Coach with Coaching with Will or something like that. Will Elliott is his name. And he's a 25-year-old guy, and he specifically specializes in helping be a life coach for teenagers, and then also helping their friends understand the trials and tribulations of being a teenager, all that kind of stuff, right? This guy just randomly started showing up in my Instagram feed. I had not followed him before. I don't think I'd heard of him before. I wasn't actually even looking online at teen stuff. Maybe Todd was, which, as I've said before, your friends and family's search history has actually a greater impact on the things that you see than the things that you search for, because your circle of influence kind of thing. But anyway, that's why your phones aren't listening to you. Your little devices aren't listening. They're listening to your friends. That's what they're doing. But this Will Elliott guy starts showing up, and I'm like, oh, well, this is interesting. Well, then I go down a rabbit hole, and then I watched like 3 hours worth of his videos yesterday. I downloaded his podcast, listened to it in the car. His podcast is genius because it's actually aimed at the teenagers, but he never acknowledges that he's talking to teenagers. He doesn't say, because he's created this podcast in a way. It's called Unstoppable You. If you have a teenager and you want to listen in on it, Unstoppable You. The guy's name is Will Elliott, and he talks about like teen issues and that like life planning, like you are not your grades, you are your effort and your environment, your effort and your emotions and all those that sort of thing, right? It's very, very kind of Oprah-ish, touchy-feely. You know, I love that kind of stuff though. But the Live Your Best Life. I'm listening to this podcast with Mason in the car on the way home from school, because it's like 25 minutes, whatever. The podcasts are only like 9 minutes long each, which is perfect. And because he doesn't, I'm just like, oh, I'm just listening to this new podcast. I did not say, I think you would like it, because the minute you start pushing or saying you have an agenda, the walls come down, right? So I'm listening, and he's listening, and Mason starts talking about it. Like, I'm like, yay, this is good. And one of the things that this guy said, and again, for those of you who have kids or going through this, one of his things is to be a lighthouse parent, not a helicopter parent, which means be a lighthouse parent where your kids know that you're there to help spot danger, that you're a steady influence. You are the beacon, like on the way home, quiet, not getting overly involved in everything, but still helping them see like things that are coming up, illuminating, that sort of thing, right? And I'm probably paraphrasing terribly and all that, versus a helicopter parent who's all always coming in, making lots of ruckus and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, lighthouse parent. I love that. I love that. Because I wouldn't consider myself a helicopter parent, because I let my kids fail all the time. And I say that in the most loving way possible. But I probably do try to solve the problems too much. But so anyway, Will Elliott, if you are interested in knowing about parenting, great stuff on there. Anyway, what else did I? Oh, I told y'all this is the last thing I have on my card. I told y'all that I closed my office. Well, I got a new office. I closed the building that I owned, and we sold it. Sold in like a week's time. Super great, easy transaction. But I had to bring over all the stuff. I got rid of most of it. I actually gave it to the kids' school. Tables, chairs, desks, that sort of thing. TVs. But a lot of stuff made it into our house, and it's just been living in our gym. So I'm now trying to figure out if it's going to live here or not. Well, one of the things that I've done is here on the wall in my studio, the Cooper Smith Koch World Headquarters for Crafting and Global Domination, or Global Headquarters for Crafting and World Domination. I put a TV up there, and it's the one that was the right size for the space, all that kind of stuff. Smart TV, but it's an older TV, and now I started playing with it. It's actually a really dumb TV. It thinks it's smart, but it's dumb, which is actually the most kind of dangerous of smart to be. So I last night went on to I am a big fan of New York Times' Wirecutter. It's a section of their website where it's like consumer reports. They test everything. They give recommendations, all that kind of stuff. Super fan. I always check Wirecutter before I buy anything to see if they have. And it's everything from like mattresses to computers to lunch boxes to trash cans for your car. Like these are the things that I bought from there. So I was like, okay, I want to look at a thing that I can add to the TV to make it truly smart. And their number one recommendation was this Google Chromecast. It used to be Roku, but now they have bumped up Google Chromecast with the last update to be like top tier status. So I bought one last night from Walmart, and it was delivered this morning. If you're a Walmart Plus member, stuff arrives like a minute after you order it. It's great. So I ordered it, started setting it up this morning, and I realized how much I am a super fan of QR codes. You know, these QR codes, those like blurry, like random, like static squares. And do you remember they've been out for like 10 years and they were just like shit forever. Like no one could figure out what to do with them. They were out before they were, as soon as they were in, all that kind of stuff. And then the pandemic happened and QR codes became like the saving grace for restaurants, things that you didn't want to touch. You wanted people to handle themselves. You just take a picture of it. And you used to have a separate app, remember, to do a QR code reader. Now all phones, just the camera does it. And so you do it. Well, they've gotten so advanced now. And y'all may know this already. I'm maybe to be old-fashioned and talking about technology in a way that's fascinating me, but it's super old school because I haven't set up a TV in forever. But I'm setting up this TV, and almost all of the apps for like Apple TV or DirecTV or like Hulu, all of these types of things, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus. P.S. I have too many subscriptions, but that's neither here nor there. But setting them up, almost all of them, it is now, you put the app on the TV, you say, okay, and it's like, if you have your phone and you're already logged in on your phone, just scan this QR code. Bloop, you scan it, and it logs you in on the TV. I have no idea how it does it. How does it know? How does it know that is you? I mean, obviously it does because it worked over and over and over and over again on all of these things. But I'm like, QR code saving the day, making my dumb TV smart again. Love it. So, anyway, well, that's all I got for the day. By the way, if anyone wants to go to the RV show, it's at Market Center. I have a gazillion tickets. I requested 7 tickets. I was offered free tickets. I requested 7 for our household and the Monica's household. They gave me 24 tickets. So I have a lot of free tickets. And by the way, it's an expensive show to go to. The tickets are $15 a piece if you buy them at the door. So I have a bunch. So it's near my house. Market Center is just like 2 exits down the highway. So if you want to go, I can leave them on my front porch. Just text me, DM me or whatever, and I can leave them out there. And it runs, I think, today through Sunday. Anyway, and it's not called, I think it's called like what is it called? It's not called the North Texas or the Dallas RV show. It's something else. But I'm sure if you just Google Dallas RV show, it'll come up. But anyway, alrighty. Well, that's all I've got for today. I need to get to cleaning up my house because we have a house full of guests arriving. And with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. And I do miss you when I'm away. And I am going to get better about being probably not 5 days a week like I was during the pandemic and then after, but something a little bit more regular. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Oh God, it's been so long. I can't remember my taglines. Don't should yourself to death. That's what it was. Don't should. No good comes from should. Have a great weekend. And I will most likely be here on Monday with another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say, talk to you later. Bye.